Hello and welcome to polyplane.com. Today we're going to be going over a really high-level overview of what's new in Rhinoceros 5. It would be quite a task for me to try to fit everything in that they changed in the software in one 6 or 7 minute long video. So I thought I would take today and go over some of the cool features that I found to be kind of useful in my day-to-day and give you kind of a tour. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because Polyplane is based on the idea of not how to do things in computer software, but why you do things a certain way. And so on polyplane.com, we use Rhinoceros as sort of our software for working, and this is only to get everybody on the same page. If you use Cinema 4D or you use Modo or ZBrush or SketchUp or whatever, that's totally cool. And the how you do certain things in each one of those programs varies from software to software. So I don't want to focus too much on grandiosing the software too much, but because it is the software that we use on the site, I think it's fair that we go over what's new and just kind of, get everybody back on the same page, because from here on out, the lessons will be done in Rhino 5. I might go back into Rhino 4 if there's ever, a rendering tutorial or something like that, but more often than not, we're going to be sticking in Rhino 5. So if you go to rhino3d.com, you can come here, and they've actually updated the site. McNeil, if you're watching, great job. They leaps and bounds better from where it was. You can come in here and just click on try, and you can download limited evaluation version. And I recommend checking this out. Even if you don't use Rhino, it's definitely worth checking out, because you might find out that you fall in love with it. And if you've never used Rhino or anything, if you go over to polyplane.com/preflight, I have a set of videos here that just kind of take you through the ins and outs of navigating through 3D software. And that's really just basic, most 3D software. So anyway, after you download it and everything, I have a full running 64-bit version. So I'm going to start that up. And the first thing you're going to notice is that they've changed the splash screen to like a open prompt. And if you don't do anything and just let this be, it'll go away. But if you want, you can actually, open up files here, open up your recent files, and you can, start up a new file. By default, your document's going to be in inches. You're going to notice that things look strangely familiar. It's almost like when you move away from home and then you come to visit after a few years and you come back, and everything looks moderately similar, but there's just little changes that make it just a little eerie. And this is kind of the same thing with Rhinos. So when you start it up, you've got your standard toolbars and everything's still dockable. The one thing that I don't like about the main toolbar, even though I like that they consolidated all your main tools into one, when it's docked down the side, it's still 2 rows. I used to like to stack these in Rhino 4 to make one skinny row, but you know what? That's splitting hairs, so I'm not going to worry about it. And you also notice that everything's got these tabs, and you can take the tabs and move them around. So I can take display up here and move it and change the orders. And as you change tabs, all of your tools kind of change up depending on what you're doing. So curve tools, you'll get a bunch of curve stuff here. And so they did add quite a bit to the interface. They even have a tab called New in V5, which is really nice because it kind of takes you through everything that's new in version 5. So I'm going to make a cube just so we can go through some of this stuff. And the first thing I'm going to show you is they actually have the technical line drawing plugin has been integrated into Rhino, and you can change the settings. Before you had to type tech toggle creases or edges or whatever, but now it's changed in here in the viewport options. So I'm just going to click on technical and add creases back in so I can get that edge. And it looks pretty good. They have an artistic, it's kind of funky. You can change whatever you want this background texture to be. I guess this is sort of their answer to SketchUp's visual style. It's okay. It's not great, but it's leaps and bounds better than where it was. And there's shaded, and they've drastically increased the shaded view. Let me make a sphere so you can see some of these highlights a little bit better. So you can see everything's nice and shiny now. Let's blend these together. It has this really nice, just graphically, it looks really good. So that's cool. And then check this out. And I'm going to turn on rendering. They've now integrated drop shadows into the rendering. Which is really nice because I've actually been able so far to screen cap a few of these shots and actually use them with just a little bit of post-production for rendering purposes, and you know, my clients have not really noticed any sort of difference. It's good. It's a real time saver. So that isn't to say that it replaces V-Ray by any means, but it's a really nice addition to have those drop shadows, and everything just kind of looks a little bit smoother. A few navigation issues that you're going to come across. You might be used to holding down Alt and dragging to make a copy, and if I'm holding down Alt and I drag down, it doesn't make a copy. What you have to do is, as you're dragging, tap Alt, and then that'll make the copy. This is just so you can see that little plus coming by my cursor. That's me tapping on and off of the Alt key, and what that's doing is just, you know, saying yes, I want to copy, or no, I don't. Personally, I wish they had just saved it where when you hold on Alt, it would make the copy, and when you're not touching Alt, it doesn't. But, you know, I'm sure they have a reason. Anyway, let's go back into shaded view here. I want to show you a couple of things. Most every other computer program has one of these, and it's about time that Rhino got one, and that's a gumball. So if I select on my object here, I just clicked on the gumball tool, and what that is it's a little gadget that's inside your object. It's located on the centroid of the volume, and if I click one of these handles, the handles all have different functions. So this is scale, there's rotate, which is this one here, and then translate or move. And this is kind of nice because you can quickly manipulate. Now, I don't know if the intention here is to make this so that you know, you can do things more arbitrarily. That's my guess, though, because I can't numerically input values when I'm doing this. So I can't say that I want to take this from 4 and bring it down to 1. So it must just be a sizing thing. But, you know, I think that they wanted to add that because that was a big hot request in when T-Splines was using it as a plugin with Rhino 4. I think that they started to see the value of being able to use a gumball to make arbitrary changes. A couple other tools I want to talk about here. There's a shell tool, shelling your poly surface. So in new and V5 tab, you come down here, click on shell poly surface, or the command is actually shell. Thickness, that's our wall thickness, so I'll just do 0.125, and then it asks you for a face to remove, and if I click enter, it makes a perfect box. Now, I'm going to start up Rhino 4 for a second. So with Rhino 4 open, I'm going to make a box, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did, where I'm going to attempt to make a shelled box. I'm going to use the offset surface command, and I'm gonna flip all my directions and make it solid, and then change the distance to like 0.5, hit enter, and then delete my original. And to get the same sort of thing, it created 6 poly surfaces, and everything is kind of singular and non-united. And if I join these all together, I'm going to wind up with all of these really ugly seams. The beauty of the shell command is it really saves me the steps of having to scale things and join them, and you know, it creates a nice clean edge. Now, this is just one brief example of what you can do with this. You can sort of use it as a slab, but what's so cool about it is it actually creates nice clean caps on the sides that, you know, you don't have a line. So if I were to do this as a slab, I'll make a curve and type slab at 0.125. It's the slab version has made these like angular creases on the edges. That starts to cause some problems for fillets. If I fillet the edges of both of these, 0.030, you're going to see there's a little bit of an issue with the trimming, so you wind up with corners that don't quite complete. Here, you get a nice clean rollover. Everything is nice and smooth. So basically, if you're going to use the shell poly surface for placement for the slab, it's actually really great because you can wind up doing a lot of nice soft rollovers and stuff. Now, I realize that the slab command is used for architectural purposes, like building out walls and everything, but I've used it for, you know, countless things that I didn't really feel like offsetting. So it's just, it's a nice addition to the tool set. The command is shell, and it can be found under new in V5, and then click on the arrow if your screen's not big enough like mine, and click on shell poly surface. The last tool that I want to show you before we sign off for today, it's called tween curves. So what this does is, let's make something kind of funky here, like, and I've got these 2 curves. I'm going to tween the curves. Again, under the new in V5 tab, there's a tween curves. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to make my number 5 Yeah, so what it does, this might not be the best example. We'll tween those. Tween curves. You can see it's trying to interpolate what's happening in between those two curves. Let's make the steps 100. You can get some really beautiful curves going on, and then you can use those and extract them, and like, I don't know, move them up, make pipes out of them. It's just a really beautiful tool. This kind of tool isn't anything new. Like, you can find this in Illustrator, but I could then take this and extract it as a vector if I wanted to. So it's really cool. I'm really interested in seeing what architects do with this. So just some of the new tools. Now, they counted like 3,500 new additions to Rhino 5, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of that is aesthetic changes, but a lot of that is tools, and clearly we're not going to fit that all in. So I just wanted to show you those few. Check it out again. The website again is rhino3d.com, and you can download the trial there and really explore it. There's a lot of new tools in there. Will make your job a heck of a lot easier, and I think you'll find some definite uses for it. So anyway, I'm looking forward to starting up all these lessons in Rhino 5, and we're going to learn some stuff together, I think. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.